Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Sunday, it's October the 2nd. So hope you had a good weekend so far, and that you got out yesterday and did something that shattered an aging stereotype on the UN's International Day of Older Persons. It was a really fun day. We got to feature our article on CNN where 8 of our women were featured and their quotes and pictures were shared, really just talking about what advice they would have given to their younger selves, and just to really support the what we stand for here at 60 and Me, which is to challenge aging stereotypes, to show that women in their 60s are just doing very cool things and have a vitality and positivity about them that is contagious, and that's what we're here for. But I've got my morning tea today, which is hopefully going to energize me. I made this morning my special turmeric, ginger, and a bit of honey, and also a little sprinkling of pepper, which activates the turmeric. So it's a really lovely drink. It's quite energizing. So turmeric tea, and we've got a few recipes on the website too, if you're interested in trying turmeric tea in the morning. But grab your tea or coffee, whatever you love, and we'll go over the news of the world and a couple of feel-good stories at the end, like we always do. And by the way, I'd like to ask you, if you've ever got a story that you think we should feature, a topic that you think is of interest to our community, please send it to me, margaret@60andme.com, and we'll research it and deliver it for you. This is your show. We want to cover things that are important to you. So, and thank you for being here, by the way. I always want to say that because I do value you here. So let's talk about the news of the world. And Hurricane Matthew is really picking up speed. The Caribbean is on high alert as it's been upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane now. This is the strongest storm in the Caribbean since Hurricane Felix back in 2007, and it's really pushing hard. It's quite a slow-moving hurricane, but it's still really, really powerful. Now, winds are up to about 230 kilometers an hour, and it's really heading straight for Jamaica, Cuba, and also Haiti is under threat. So let's just pray that everyone is doing well there and getting ready for this big storm. And if we've got people in our community there, in any of those places, or if you're in the Caribbean on holiday or anywhere in that region, please let us know how you're doing. And I think Florida is also on a bit of alert as well. So Hurricane Matthew is making waves. Now, in Poland, there was an interesting rally yesterday. Women were out on the streets protesting a ban on abortions that the government has in place. Now, it's already a very strict law in Poland that you can only have an abortion if it threatens a mother's health, if there's rape involved or incest. So those are the three things now that will allow you to get an abortion. But they're even trying to strengthen this further. And so the women, thousands of them were out on the streets yesterday protesting this proposed change to the law. Now, they actually, on Monday, are going to do something in Poland that has never been done before, and it emulates what happened in Iceland about 30 years ago. They're going to do a strike, a women's strike, a general strike, and basically stop working. And what they did in Iceland back in 1975, I think it was, is all the women just didn't go to work. They just didn't show up at their paid jobs. The economy really, really, felt it. They also didn't do any household chores. They just went completely on strike. Now in Iceland, this was a success. They were really, in that case, trying to just point out how important women were to the Icelandic economy. And so after the general strike, they really got their needs and demands on the board, and they actually went very far. In the next year, there was a law putting into place a plan to equalize men and women in the economy. And the very next year, a couple of years later, in 1980, a woman prime minister was elected in Iceland. So women really took their beliefs and their passions in their hands and got out and went on strike. And so the women in Poland are going to do the same on Monday. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll report back on the on the event. Now, in Spain, just to give you a quick update there, the socialist leader, his name is Pedro Sanchez, he resigned yesterday. Now, he has been leading the Socialist Party, trying to set up a new government with the current premier, and has basically been unable to, gather his troops together to get that done. So he had a rebellion of his own Socialist Party and decided to resign. They're going to now have to vote for a new leader, and just hope that Spain can get its election act together so that it can start, getting its country on its feet. But that's the situation in Spain. And now, in the United States, I have to mention that the news is pretty much wall-to-wall election coverage. And just to highlight that the main themes in the last couple of days have been Donald Trump's Twitter postings, and also his taxes. There's been some new revelations that the Democratic Party is pushing, and that'll all be revealed. And as I say before, you can go to your news channels in the States and get all the information you could possibly want. But just to give you a brief overview. Now, Colombia today. In Colombia, the citizens of Colombia are voting officially on the peace treaty, the very historic peace treaty with the FARC rebels. This has been a war. It's gone on for 50 years. They did sign an agreement with the government, but today it's the people of Colombia who vote to accept it. So that's very exciting news from Colombia. I hope that works out exactly the way they want it to. Now, just finally, in news from Africa, it's a part of the world that there's just so much going on, and there's so much diversity there that it's hard to put a finger on one area that needs more attention than another. But a UN official yesterday said that Nigeria is really going to be struggling on the humanitarian front because of the situation with Boko Haram. And, it's really impacting that area of northeast Nigeria. And the people are suffering so much because of that terrorist group, really, terrorizing people in the area. So that's a warning from the United Nations. And anyway, that's the news of the world. It's really hard to not take a personal view on some of these things because you really can see people suffering. But that's what's going on. I hope it gets better. Now, and going along with that, I think that we often feel kind of disempowered. We just don't feel like we can do anything about some of these things. And I know a lot of women have commented on our website about how sad that makes them. And I just think that, we've got to start where we can get some control, which is over our own lives. So I've got a story today, which is really about empowerment and looking at challenges in a different lens. Now, this article is by Jackie Dishner. She writes for grandparents.com. It's a really nice site. I would suggest you take a look at it sometime. It's not just about grandparenting. It's about really life in your 60s and beyond. And she wrote this article about how when we face challenges, we tend to say, why did that happen to me? Why did that event happen to me? And she says, why don't we turn it around and change the wording? And instead of saying, why did it happen to me, say, why did it happen for me? And I really like that angle, because what it really says for us to try is that every situation, negative, positive, has something that we can learn from. It has something for us. And I think that that's helped me a lot look at some situations and to grasp the power and the impact of looking positively at a situation that doesn't look always so positive when you're in it. So she gives some ideas. I'll just go through these quickly, and I'll leave the link, as I do usually, for you to read the article in more detail. So first thing, of course, we've talked about before is focus on others. Just look at things in perspective and try to just put yourself in perspective. Focus on other people. Volunteer. Mentor younger people. Know that what that you've learned over your 60 years of life is valuable and that you can share it. And by sharing with others, you really get a perspective on yourself. And that's, I think, an important, those relationships help. The next thing is to use your imagination. And I think this is really a great way to boost your confidence. To look at someone who has gone through what you've gone through. For example, if you're getting a divorce or you've lost someone in your family, maybe take a look at how you can learn from that experience and other people that have gone through it, and use your imagination to say, how did they deal with it? How can I, do something similar? How can I learn from it? And just how can you, pick up the habits and the behaviors that help them, and just use your imagination to work your way through your own situation. Now, the next thing is to make a to-do list. Now, I'm a big to-do list person. I make little lists all over the place. And the secret here, of course, is that by giving yourself a boundary, saying this task has to be done today, it gives you a sense that you can control your life. You can control the actions that lead to resolution of things that make you feel unempowered or make you fearful. So that's important. Next thing she talks about is using your natural talents. And you all have them. We all have them. We all do things that we do really well. And I think that that's important to recognize it and to value them. Look at what you've done, that you've got through. Look at the things you've accomplished, and to use that as a strength of a source of strength. Now, she gives a really funny idea here, which I never thought about before, but it's to change your passwords. Now, if you change your password on your email or on your, one of your online accounts to something that's positive, like a positive mantra, like better be happy every day, or use a positive mindset. Use that as your password, easy to remember, and also every time you type it, there's a repetitiveness about it that ingrains it in your actions, in your belief system. I think it's a really cool idea. I always try to make my passwords complicated, but maybe just a phrase with a few numbers and symbols will help just reinforce your positivity. Oh, the final thing, she does say one more thing, which I'm a great believer in, is to give yourself a massage every day. 10 minutes. Just give yourself a massage. Rub your head, rub your shoulders, your arms, feet, fingers. Just stop 10 minutes a day and give yourself a massage. Why not? And if you can go out and have a proper massage, I say proper, just one that costs money, that's an option too. But you can do it yourself. And that's what she says. And of course, that goes along with exercising. But it's a really nice little article. It's by Jackie Dishner, and it's called 7 Things You Can Do to Empower Yourself. Great story. Now, okay, a lot of women in our community might be interested in this article. It's actually how a lot of us live alone. And living alone can be very challenging. There's always the aspect of loneliness and isolation, but there are lots of women who love being alone and feel it's a really perfect lifestyle for them. And I found this article by 25 famous women on how they feel about being alone. And some of the quotes are quite inspirational. I won't read them all, but just a couple that you might be inspired by. So for example, Susan Sarandon, a famous actress, but just a lovely woman, says, being alone means a lot of different things for me. It can be traumatic and exhilarating. The one thing is you have to think about your own life and your relationships and everything as a living organism. It's always constantly moving, changing, and transforming. And I think that's a great way to look at being alone, is that you're never alone. You are a product of your relationships. So that's a great one. Now, Mindy Kaling says, I love being by myself. I think if I was in the wrong relationship, which I had been in several, she says, that would be so much worse than the feeling of autonomy and freedom I have living alone. Probably a lot of you can relate to that. Diane Keaton, I love Diane Keaton. She says, I remember when I was young, I honestly believed in some ridiculous way that I would find someone who would be the person I lived with until the day I died. I don't think it's because I'm not married that it's made my life any less. That old maid myth is garbage. And that's really true. I think that we have these stereotypes of even in the way we talk about aging that make us feel that somehow being alone, being an old maid, being a spinster is a bad thing. That I know from talking to some of you women in our community that that's not true. So I would love you to actually leave a comment on that. If you've got any thoughts on it, I would love to hear your quotes. Just give us a quote on your ideas about living alone, what it's meant for you. We can have our own quote party. But anyway, that's what I think we are as human beings. We tend to have this this habit of just feeling that we have to make a choice, and life has unfolded in such a beautiful way. Many of us have been married and now divorced, and just know that there is beauty in both. That being alone isn't a bad thing, in my opinion, too. So that's my news and views for today. I've got something I want to give to one of you today, a little gift. And this is for all women who love cats. Any cat lovers out there? This is a little beautiful little cat scarf. It's really cute. It's got little kittens on it, little kitties all over it, and it's really pretty. I think it's gorgeous, actually. And it's actually quite a small one. It's not too long. It's just a little one that you could put around your neck, or you could just kind of, I think it's really sweet. So that's a cat scarf for someone in our community who loves kitties. Just leave a comment in the section below, and you can talk about anything you like. You can mention an article we've discussed, or you can just talk about cats, or about why you might like this little scarf. Now, I have a question to end our session today, and I think it's probably one you are expecting. And that is just very simply, what do you love being alone? Do you like spending time by yourself? Just leave your comments below and we'll have a conversation on this. I think it could be very interesting to share our thoughts on that. So, do you like spending time alone? I love to talk to you about this. Now look, have a wonderful Sunday. Do something for yourself, pamper yourself, and whether it's being alone or with your family and friends, just make it special. And know that we'll be right back here tomorrow on Mornings for 60 and Me. Take good care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.